Hey, right guys, Trace Much is Joe here, and today we are going to be doing the final part to the tier list for every TV show that I have seen, or at least seen one season of. This isn't every show that I've seen, because there are plenty that I've seen like a few episodes to and just dropped because they weren't ready for me, or I just haven't gone back to. But I felt like stuff with at least one season of, I'd at least have something to say. And honestly, since starting this tier make list, I think there's probably another three. I've started Top Boy. House of the Dragon isn't on here, of course. We've got the Dharma Show. We've got Cyberpunk Edge Runners. We got, what else? We got The Watcher, Cabinet of Curiosity. So that'll all be added. This is like the big, 6-part series. But then from this point onwards, we'll do one of these every single year just to update any new seasons on here, of course, and then add in any new shows that have come out during that year. And then on top of that, at the end of every year, I also do a tier list for every individual season of a show that I've seen. So, like, for example, when we do One Tree Hill at the end of the year, I'll be doing 3 individual seasons of that show that I would have seen in 2022. So, do keep that in mind. And we don't have too many left. I reckon we can get through this fairly quickly, and then we'll just rearrange anything that I'm not too happy with. Even though I glanced over, I'm pretty happy with pretty much all of this. I've put some numbers next to the titles here. So these are the shows I'd consider a 10 out of 10. 8 to 9 out of 10. Shows I'd consider a 7 out of 10. Shows I'd consider a 5 or a 6 out of 10. A 3 to a 4 out of 10. And then a 0. I don't think there's any show I'd give a 0 out of 10 to. But Berserk is probably the closest. I'd probably give that like a 1 or something. Very close to a 0. So that's kind of a number representation. But starting with Ted Lasso, I got about halfway through season 2 of this show. I will admit it's one of those like happy, comfort shows. I think every episode's only about 30 minutes long. The majority of the characters are very likable. It's quite funny. I wouldn't say the storyline is super incredible, but I don't think it's really going for that. There are some like overly forced cheesy moments in the show at times. I think there was a few episodes where I was just a bit like rolling my eyes at certain situations. I think it's more in season 1 than season 2. But yeah, I need to wrap up season 2. I think when I got to the episode I was just moving into here, so I just got caught up in doing other things. But I'll finish season 2 probably before season 3 comes out. I'd give Ted Lasso probably based on what I've seen, like a very low 7. So I'd put it maybe there. I think it looks quite good. I know this is like a beloved show that people really like, and I do get that. I think it's not really for me, but I think for what it is, like a comfort feel show, comedy, sitcom kind of show, I think it is a pretty decent one. So yeah, I'd give that one a 7 out of 10 for sure. Teen Wolf. We have the Teen Wolf film coming out very soon, so I'll definitely be reacting to that. But Teen Wolf was, of course, one of the first shows that I reacted to. I think it was definitely like in the first 10. I was thinking, remember, it was like How to Get Away with Murder, Pretty Little Liars, Teen Wolf, and then they were the shows that I started from Ep 1 though, because I was going to say like Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead, but I was just doing the episodes that were airing at that time. So Teen Wolf was definitely one of the early ones, and you can't watch any of those reactions now. I'm pretty sure MTV blocked 95% of the Teen Wolf reactions, and this is the one show that I just can't get a hold of. I don't know where they are. I've got like 4 hard drives throughout the year, and I can't find Teen Wolf on any of them. Even though one of them I think is like kind of broken, so I bet it's on that one that I can't access because it was one of the older hard drives, or it's not even a hard drive, it's like a USB stick or something back then. It's a hard drive now, thankfully. But I have everything backed up now. But Teen Wolf seems to be the only show that I'm hopeful though. I'm hopeful. I think I have seasons 4, 5, and 6, but it's seasons 1, 2, and 3 I can't seem to get hold of. But I could do some digging and maybe find them. But Teen Wolf, I have very good. It's goofy. The CGI is bad. The acting at times is pretty bad. Has Dylan O'Brien in though. I will admit season 3 is actually a banger. Season 3 is really, really good. But season 1's a bit Season 2 is better than season 1, but still has its moments, whereas season 4 I actually quite liked. Then from what I remember, season 5 was bad, and season 6 was a bit of a mixed bag. So Season 3, I'd put in the 8/9. Season 1 and 2, I'd probably put in like the 5/6. And then season 5 would be like a 3/4. Now looking back, I think at the time I'd probably give them higher ratings than I would nowadays. But Teen Wolf, I'd put in probably really good, maybe. Who's better than Rain? It's better than that. It's better than. It wasn't as good as Prison Break though, so maybe there. Yeah, I prefer Kids on the Slope and Prison Break, so all those onwards, definitely. But Teen Wolf did have some really, really good episodes. There was a lot of garbage in there for sure. I think if Teen Wolf was like 3 seasons, and they could have been a really, really solid show, but obviously it ran that thing of have to keep going, and now we've got a film coming out which I'm going to react to, but I don't think that's going to be very good. We'll see. The 100 is also a bit of a mixed bag, a show that just went on a bit too long. I have a very soft spot for season 1. I think season 1 is pretty bad, but I really, really like it. Season 1's my like guilty pleasure season. Season 2 is actually great. Season 3 is a mixed bag. Season 4 is pretty great. Season 5 was pretty good. And then 6 and 7 were pretty mixed. So, really great characters. I think what kept the 100 as entertaining as it was the characters were really, really solid. Kind of like how I felt with Shadowhunters, where, yeah, the storyline came... You know, the storyline in 100 was definitely better than it was in Shadowhunters. So, I'm going to give it a 7, but I think a very high one. I think I prefer it. I'd probably put it there. Not... yeah, not as good as Euphoria. None of them are even close to Euphoria level. But I will say, I had more fun, like actual fun, with the 100 than I did with the Euphoria. I think Euphoria is a far better made show. There's no denying that. But the 100, especially seasons, I'd say 1 to 4, really, really fun stuff. Again, kind of everything I'd say about Shadowhunters, I'd give to the 100 as well. It's like technically a pretty cheaply made, goofy teenage drama show, but it is those characters that really boosted up for me. I will say season 7 was pretty bad though, looking back. What a way to end it. And they tried to shoehorn like a spin-off pilot in there. Ugh. No. Alright, End of the Fucking World. The perfect example of just a show that knew when to end. 2 seasons, very, very short. I think only 20 to 30 minutes long per episode. It did its job. It did its storyline with 2 great characters, great dialogue, great music. And there was a point in season 1, I think around ep 3, where it just kind of switched up into this whole other show. And I was like, I'm on board. I want to see where this goes. And I'm glad they could have left it at season 1, but I'm glad they did a second season. And season 2 was as good as season 1 from what I remember. So I'd give it like an 8. Probably... Where would I put it? Better than Skins, definitely. How to Get Away with Murder, I think I prefer. How to Get Away with Murder does go on too long, but I think I just care about the characters. Actually, yeah, End of the Fucking World, I'd say it is only like 2 characters really, which is the hard bit. But that's all it needs to be. There are side characters in there as well, of course, but that's what I'd say. I prefer the How to Get Away with Murder characters, but there's like way more. I'd probably put it there. Yeah, very, very good show. Ended when it needed to, which I love about that. The Flash. I've only watched 1 season of this. I just couldn't do more than that. To be fair, I will say The Flash season 1 wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. And I do not care for like the Marvel DC shows, really. I know we've got Arrow up there, but Arrow was actually pretty fun as well. When I was kind of giving them a chance, I watched Arrow and like I say, 1 season of The Flash. And then I was like, that's enough for me. The Flash was worse than Arrow, definitely, from what I saw. It's just goofy, bad CGI. I don't really care for episodics, as we know. I'd probably put it... it's better than Dexter New Blood, though. Again, this is based on season 1. I've heard The Flash gets really even worse than it was. But season 1 was watchable. I will admit that. I'd probably put it there. It wasn't the worst thing I'd ever seen. And I do not care for The Flash, that's for sure. I know people love that show, and it's nothing against people who... But for me, I can't get into those episodic superhero shows, and they're still going. Like Supergirl, I think Supergirl might finish to be fair, but like Legends of Tomorrow, is that still going? And then Batgirl, I don't know what's going on. It's still going. People still watching them, I guess. The Inbetweeners, the best British comedy you're ever gonna find. I rewatched this last year, and it still made me laugh. Still makes me laugh. So I think this could have been like a Skin situation where I rewatched it and I'd be like, oh, not as funny as I remember. And it is very kind of teenage boy humor, like four lads, you know, just talking about dicks and cum and piss and whatever. But I don't. It's so funny. These characters are so ridiculous. I think I've watched this show all the way through from start to finish about 5 times now. 4 of the times where it was like way back, and then like I say one time last year, and it still holds up. So People Just Do Nothing I know is somewhere here. There's People Just Do Nothing on the far right. This is better than that and funnier than that, so I'd probably put it probably up for its sex ed. Maybe there. Like, I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10 because I think I don't know. I think my nostalgia of it would be like wanting to give it a 10 out of 10. But I think it's like, but then 24 is like a lot of that is nostalgia as well. So is it a 10? I don't know. It'd be very close. I'm not going to give it a 10, but I'm going to put it at the top of Fantastic. Yeah, it's so fun. I don't really have a bad thing to say about it. I don't think there's a bad episode. There's only 6 episodes a season, 3 seasons. I don't think there's a bad episode. I just don't feel in me giving it like a 10 out of 10. I don't think it's like that. I don't know, you know. I don't know. I might do it. It's not for everyone. I will admit that. I'm trying to find a reason to not give it a 10 out of 10 because I want to keep that like very sacred. Like the sacred 10 out of 10s. But I've got Succession in there, and Succession's not even finished. Not that that really matters. As of right now, Succession to me is a 10 out of 10, so that's why that's there. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to put it there. I'm going to give it the 10 out of 10. I think it's the funniest show I've ever seen, and I can't think of a reason not to put it in there. I will say it's not for everyone, and it might be partly like I did grow up with it. So I think I'd be curious if I'd watched it for the first time today. Would I give it a 10? Maybe not, but yeah, I'm a little unsure on that one for now, but I might change that. But for now, I don't see a reason not to put it in there, honestly. So yeah, The IT Crowd. Now this is one I did rewatch. Loved this when I was younger, and it still is really good. But I did rewatch it. I think it was after or just before The Inbetweeners, and it wasn't as funny as I remember. It was still really funny, and there are like a few episodes from The IT Crowd that are 10 out of 10s. There's probably like a good handful of 10 out of 10 episodes in there. But I think the laughing track, like the laughing track in Friends, I can get behind. I think the laughing track in The IT Crowd hasn't aged very well. I don't know what it is about it. It feels a bit more awkward in The IT Crowd with the laughing track. Yeah, I don't know. I think there would have been a time where I would have given this an 8. But like, I didn't rewatch all of it, to be fair. I rewatched a season and a half, and then I was like, that's enough for me. I'd say Peep Show's better. It is still really good though, so I'd probably put it maybe there, just below Dexter but above Merlin. Yeah, I think that sounds about right to me. It's still really good. It's still worth a watch, but it's not as funny as I remember. I think with the IT Crowd, it's more there are individual episodes that I adore more than adoring the entirety of the show, if that makes sense. The Last Dance, maybe the best documentary that I've seen. Yeah, it is. It is the best documentary that I've seen. This is what actually got me into basketball. I'm not even like fully into basketball, but it's what made me give it a chance. And the story is just so good. It's 10 episodes long. It's only one season. It is the best. Like the other one that would be compared to it, I'd say would be Don't Fuck With Cats. Not in terms of the genre and the storyline, but in terms of what I'd consider the best documentary that I've seen. And that's only with TV, so that's not including obviously film documentaries. That's a whole different plethora of documentaries, but I think for TV series documentaries, I'd give The Last Dance like a solid 9 out of 10. You get so invested in the games, even though they happened like 20 plus years ago. And I didn't know anything, like kind of like with Don't Fuck with Cats, I didn't know anything about the story of like Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. So everything, every episode, every bit of information I was getting was new. It made me interested in an actual sport, which never has happened before. So that's pretty fun. And I'm actually watching like games now. I know Wild, not Chicago Bulls though, they're not very good. Memphis is the team I'm watching every game of at the moment, which is good fun. But yeah, I really like this. I'm probably going to put it. Actually, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I'd probably put it maybe above Sons of Anarchy. Not as good as Am with an E. So yeah, I think Am with an E. I got more emotional with it. It's like yeah, okay, again, but there were a couple of times though where I was getting emotional with this as well. It was really well made. Give it. I think watch it one, even if you're not into basketball or sports, because I was not before I started this show. I went off the recommendation of Chris Stuckman, who did a review for it on YouTube. Just give it one a go, see if it's your thing. I do recommend it. The Legend of Korra, the spin-off to Avatar: The Last Airbender. I think this is one of those shows, like, in the moment, I was really enjoying it, and then looking back and, like, reading more deep dives on The Legend of Korra, on why it's kind of not great. I think when I ended it, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I would definitely bump that down to a 7, I think. Let me check. Did I give it a... Let me check. Legend of Korra. Oh, no, I gave it a 7. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. That's right then. I gave season 1 a 7, season 2 a 7, season 3 an 8. Season 3 was really good. See, I think season 4 and 8 is the one I changed. Season 2 is was close to a 6 from what I remember. Okay, yeah, so I'd stick by my rating. I wouldn't go as... Some people think this is like dog shit and awful. I don't think it's that bad. But I would probably give it like a mid 7. Let's go... It's better than Heartstopper. It's better than Orange is the New Black. It's better than Pretty Little Liars. Not as good as Mr. Robot. Maybe not as good as Pretty Little Liars as well, actually. I'd probably put it there. Slap bang in the middle. Looks good there. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually someone who's kind of anticipating a little bit the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender. I think they know what they can't do because of how bad the film was. Not that I've seen it, but how bad I've heard the film is. So I wouldn't say I'm like anticipating the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I'm more curious, and I'm not going to go and just shitting on it. But I think The Legend of Korra, like when you compare to how high up Avatar: The Last Airbender is, I can see why this is a big disappointment for people. But I didn't grow up with Avatar, so I didn't have that connection with it, I guess. The Mighty Boosh, another British comedy, which I've not rewatched in a long time. I rewatched 1 or 2 episodes I remember enjoying a lot when I was younger, and both those episodes held up. But I can't talk much about how good the show is because I've not watched it in about 10 years, I want to say. I remember loving it as a kid. There's only 3 seasons, sorry. So a lot of these British, like In-Betweeners and People Just Do Nothing and stuff, they just kind of kept it short and sweet, which I really like. IT Crowd was only 4 seasons from what I remember. And again, only 6 episodes. So, to my boosh, I do think there are some episodes in here from what I remember that even as a kid I didn't fully like, but this is a weird one. I know about 2 or 3 people who hate this show. My best mate, this is like his favourite show ever. I think if I don't put this in a 10 out of 10, he might disown me as a friend, but hey, as much as I love my boy, I gotta be honest. I'd probably say better than IT Crowd, not as good as Peep Show. So I'm gonna put it towards the top of really good. Maybe there. I need to rewatch this one, to be fair. It has been like, say, around 10 years. I've watched a couple of episodes, and they were really good. Not for everyone. Kind of like The In-Betweeners. Not going to be for everyone. Very strange, very weird, but very well done. I think it's got a good cast of characters in there and some storylines that only these two could come up with. That's for sure. Alright, The Night of, a limited series. I think it was only 6 episodes long. It's got Riz Ahmed in from Four Lions, and what did he go on to do? He's in Venom, but that's not what I'm thinking of him from. What's he from? Oh, The Sound of Metal. He was in that. Did he get nominated for an Oscar for that? I think he did. Very, very good show. I think I did this in about 2 days. I think I did a reaction to it one way back. way back. It didn't do very well, so I didn't react to the rest of the show, but I really enjoyed this one. I think it was one of those, I guess, you invested very quickly in episode 1, and you kind of don't know where it's going. Very well shot. I don't hear a lot of people talk about the show. I feel like when it came out, a lot of people were talking about how amazing it was for about 3 months while it was airing, basically, and then it just kind of disappeared. It's not like one of those, to be fair, like Goated or like Chernobyl, not that I've seen Chernobyl, from what I've heard, kind of HBO limited series that everyone talks about and has fond memories of, but I thought it was a good time. I'd probably give it an 8 and put it not as good as The End of the World, not as good as Angel Beats, but probably better than Prison School. Yeah, I'd put it there. Again, check out one out, see if it's your thing. It's very short, so you won't be spending too much time on it. The OA. Now, this was one where I loved season 1. Season 2 came out, and I think very quickly after season 2 came out, or it might have been a while after, it got cancelled, so I never bothered with season 2. I just can't. I can't get into shows where I know you're not going to have like a definitive ending. So this is only based on season 1. I said I loved season 1. I won't go that far. I think season 1 was really, really good. I'd probably put it towards the top of here. It's a shame. I felt like this was one of those shows that when it came to Netflix originals, it was one of the first, kind of like Dark, where it was a mystery, you didn't really know where it was going. A bit of sci-fi in there. And then it got cancelled, even though I felt like it was from the OA onwards where Netflix shows that were actually popular were getting cancelled. And now we're just in like this flurry of Netflix just cancelling everything they do unless it's Stranger Things. So let's give Stranger Things 5 other spin-offs. Why not do that? I'd probably put it... I prefer Dexter for sure. Maybe down for Crime Story. Oh, that's not where it's going. Just my hand slipped. Better than Orange is the New Black. Better than Korra. I had more fun with Pretty Little Liars, so I'd probably put it there. I know it's better than Pretty Little Liars. I know that. But I had more fun with Pretty Little Liars, so that away. We'll put Slap Bang in the middle of 7. The Office. This is the US version. I've not seen the UK one. I know I'm like a traitor to not to America, God. I know I'm a traitor to the UK for not having watched the UK Office, but I will watch the UK Office at some point. I think it's unfortunately because now when I watch the UK Office, all the jokes, I'm just going to think of the US version, which it should be the other way around. But I love The Office. However, I think this would genuinely be in either the top of Fantastic or Goated. However, the last 2 seasons, I cannot get through. I can't get through the last 2 seasons. I've tried 2 or 3 times to get through the last 2 seasons, and I can't. I'm not going to spoil it, but if you know what happens, then you know why I can't get through the last 2 seasons. However, up to that point, very consistent, very funny, great characters, a great romance with Jim and Pam that actually feels like their chemistry on screen is so good. Steve Carell as Michael Scott is one of those casting choices that you can't imagine anyone else playing Michael Scott. I know Bob Odenkirk, who played Saul, got very close. I think he came like second. So there could have been a universe where Bob Odenkirk played Michael Scott. But even then, as much as I love Bob Odenkirk, Steve Carell was the perfect choice. So The Office US, I would put... I'm still going to put it in Fantastic, despite those last 2 seasons. Maybe... Maybe I'm going to go high up. I'm looking like comparing it to Shameless, Game of Thrones, and With an E. I prefer it to those 3. Sex Education... that's hard. Sex Education has better characters and better storylines, but The Office is funnier. and has more of a cozy feel. I guess, yeah, I can't put it above Sex Ed. We'll go there. Number 4 on the fantastic scale. I think if it didn't have those last 2 seasons, and to be fair, season 1 of The Office does have some pretty weakish episodes, so season 1 is there, which is really unfortunate. I've rewatched The Office, like, say, 3 times, and the 2 times after the first time, I just skipped season 1. I don't think season 1's that good. And then season is 8 and 9, basically, are just pretty bad. So if it wasn't for those 3 seasons, I'd maybe put it in goated. But it says a lot about how good seasons 2 to 5 or 6 or whatever are, where it can have 3 pretty bad seasons and still be that high up on the list. Apart from The In-Betweeners, I think it is the funniest show, for sure. Alright, The Punisher. Couldn't get through season 2. Season 1, however, was really, really great. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get more of The Punisher. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get more of John Barenthal as The Punisher. I'd be shocked if we don't. He's going to get some... I say that because we've obviously got Charlie Cox back as Daredevil. He's getting his own show now, which is good. I'm a bit worried about it, but we'll see. Do I prefer Daredevil or The Punisher? I prefer season 1 of The Punisher to anything from Daredevil, I think. But I think Daredevil is way more consistent based on what I saw from season 2 of The Punisher. Because I don't think Daredevil has a bad season. So... But season 1 of The Punisher is really good stuff. It's hard. They're both... I need to rewatch these 2, actually. Again, can't watch my Punisher reactions. I think most of them have been blocked. Which is kind of sad because I really enjoyed doing reactions to that show. Maybe better than Angel Beats, yeah. Probably there. But better than Suits, yeah. Not as good as Sopranos from what I remember. So I'd say better than Daredevil. I think Daredevil is more consistent, but I just think I prefer the character of the Punisher to Daredevil. And if you're going season 1 versus season 1, I'd give it to the Punisher. But season 2, and I think most of 3 as well, I saw of Daredevil was really good. So, the Vampire Diaries. So we're currently... I've had such a rocky road with Vampire Diaries. It was a show that was always on in the background with my sister. Then watched it with my uncle way back. Then rewatched... then did reactions to the originals. Did 15 episodes of that or something. Then stopped doing reactions to that because I wasn't really into it. Then came back to the Vampire Diaries, started at Ep 1. Now we're on halfway through season 4 as of recording this. And I'm about to start doing reactions to the originals again when I finish season 4. So rocky road with the Vampire Diaries in terms of, not in terms of enjoyment, but just in terms of being all over the place with actually trying to get through the thing. I really enjoy the Vampire Diaries. I think there are some tropes I'm starting to get a bit bored of as being halfway through season 4. Like, I'm bored of Elena being in trouble. I'm bored of Damon just going off the rails. I'm bored of Bonnie being used all the time and never just being like a character. She just has to be used. I'm bored of Matt being Marty. I'm bored of Jeremy being Marty. I'm bored of Stefan trying to protect Elaine every 5 seconds. However, it sounds like I really hate the show. It's like, oh, well, why do you react to it? However, the characters are really great. I think I like characters like Caroline and Klaus really hold the show up. Even Elena does have really good moments. I think the storylines can be really fun. I think especially in season 3, like the whole originals idea and characters like Rebecca and Elijah being there. It stops... I feel like the Vampire Diaries, say you have like a 4 episode, it seems to have a rule where you'll have an absolute banger in those 4 eps, 2 pretty good episodes, and then 1 episode where it just repeats the same thing you've seen a billion times. So it'd be nice if we can kind of get out of that flurry. But it is really good fun. So based on that, I'm going to probably give it, for now, again, this isn't one we've finished and we are currently reacting to it, so this could change. And I'm only halfway through season 3. I'm going to put it in Fantastic. But probably towards the bottom, like maybe there. Season 1, really good. Season 2, really good. Season 3, great. I think Season 3 could have been like a 9 out of 10 if they didn't, if it was just shortened down to like 16, 15 episodes. It went on a bit too long, and season 4 so far has been really good. So yeah, we'll put it in the low part of fantastic for now. All right, The Walking Dead. Oh dear, The Walking Dead. I used to love The Walking Dead. There would have been a time where if you'd asked me, The Walking Dead would probably have been in my top 3 shows of all time. Like there would have been a time maybe 5-6 years ago where I'd have put it in the goated tier list. I think season 1 is really solid. I think season 2 is actually great. I know a lot of people shit on season 2. Then I'd say 3, 4, 5, and 6 are pretty amazing. I'd give like maybe like 1 to 6. I'd give maybe like an 8.5 out of 10. So maybe I want to put it in goated, but I adored this show so much. And then season 7 hit. Season 7 was kind of stinky. It wasn't bad. It just was a bit stink. And season 8 was a bit and then I think I stopped about season 9. It just, 11 seasons of The Walking Dead, and we're getting a spin-off with Daryl, and another spin-off with Negan and Maggie, and then another spin-off with Michonne and Rick. Oh, and then we're getting another spin-off with Terry Crews in from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. What is that, like Tales of the Walking Dead? And then they already have a spin-off called Fear the Walking Dead, which we've spoken about. And then they had another spin-off called, what was it, The Walking Dead World Beyond. You have The Walking Dead and 6 spin-off shows, and I guarantee there will be more. 6 spin-off shows. No show in the existence of ever should have 6 spin-off shows. That is insane. And also, why do they have spin-off shows about like Daryl and Negan and Maggie and okay, I'll let Rick Michonne have that, that's fine, whatever, but why have 2 spin-off shows? That's just like The Walking Dead season 12. So technically The Walking Dead isn't even finishing, it's just getting some spin-off shows. So I don't know what's going on. I think it's an absolute mess that they've created. I think they are milking this cow to the ground. Okay, maybe if they had like a spin-off show coming off after The Walking Dead, I could be fine with that alongside like Fear the Walking Dead, but 6 spin-off shows is insane. That is insane. Who's watching that? People are going to watch it, obviously, but you could have had something incredible. Imagine if they had like 7 seasons of The Walking Dead, like all planned out with what they were going to do, and like every season was like maybe 16 episodes or something. This could have been one of the best shows of all time. And now it's just looked at as like, oh, you had an episode of Carol running around the house trying to find a rat. What? Oh, okay. If you want to spend 40 minutes of someone's time watching a character chase a rat, I've not seen the episode, so I don't really have any context, or the episode might be amazing, but I looked on Tracked and saw people giving it like a 1 out of 10, so I can't imagine it's too great. Do you think? I'll give it a... Again, everything I've just said sounds like I should be giving it a 1 out of 10. The 6 spin-offs coming out about it isn't really like a point against The Walking Dead. It's just, that's outside of the show. It's happening. As for the show The Walking Dead, seasons 1 to 6 stop this from being down in near Glee, honestly. Seasons 1 to 6 I love. Love. Where have you gone? You've gone here. Okay, cool. So for that reason, I'm going to put it pretty high, to be honest. Like, this contradicts everything I say, but seasons 1 to 6 were amazing. They were so good. I do have such a soft spot for it. I'll probably put it maybe there. Keep in mind, this could have been a show that was way high up here or here, and to be fair, only season 7 and 8 are stopping it being up there. I don't know, is that too high? I feel like with everything I just said, I should probably take it down lower. I don't. I don't feel good about having it up that high up. I don't feel good about that. Let's bring you down to reality. Um, maybe. Ugh, maybe there. Yeah, I don't feel good about putting it in the eights. Part of me is just like 11 seasons, bro. I mean, I'm saying this and I'm about to react to Grey's Anatomy, so I don't know what I'm on about. But hey, I didn't go along Grey's Anatomy episode by episode live, thinking maybe this will end at some point. And I did Supernatural for one season. But that's my point. I did one season. I was like, that's enough for me. But that's episodic, to be fair. The Walking Dead is not episodic. All right, The Wire. This is an interesting one. When I started this tracked tier list, when I did part one, The Wire probably wouldn't have been that high up. However, when I watched season one, I was pretty bored at times. I don't typically get super bored with an entire season of a show, but The Wire, I know this is blasphemy. This is one of the, regarded as one of the best shows of all time. And keep in mind, I'm only talking about season one. We'll get to the other seasons in a minute. Season one, there were times where I was pretty bored. I think a lot of the characters were pretty unlikable. That was the point. Like, for those who don't know, it's like a show you're kind of seeing the perspective from the police and then the perspective from the criminals and kind of how they're butting heads, their ins and outs. But I felt like everyone on the police side were just corrupt and all dickheads. So you never really liked anyone on the police side, maybe the odd one or two. And then the criminals, it's like, oh, they're all criminals and most of them are dickheads as well, apart from the odd one or two. So I never really found any characters that I liked. However, this is the perfect example of a show that got better and better every single season. It's only 5 seasons. I've not watched season 5 yet. I finished season 4 about 4 days ago. And season 4, again, when we're doing the individual seasons at the end of the year, season 4 of The Wire is going so far up that list, it might even be the best. It might not be the best season I've seen of the year, but it is, because I've watched Succession this year as well, but it is pretty close. Season 2 is great. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed season 2. I preferred it to season 1, because a lot of people were saying like season 2 is the weakest of the show. I preferred season 2 to season 1, and I preferred season 3 to season 2. Season 3 was really great as well. But season 4, I understand the hype around season 4. I don't think I understand the hype around The Wire being regarded as one of the best shows of all time. Or I understand it, I just don't agree. Alright, apologies, my camera ran out, so I've just had to charge that for like 30 minutes. But I think I was ranting about The Wire and saying how great season 4 was. And I'll prove that by putting it pretty high up, I'm sure, when we do the next tier list at the end of the year, which we'll get to. But as for a show as a whole, I am going to put it pretty high up in fantastic, I think. But I'm not going to. Again, I get why this is a lot of people's favorite show of all time, and why it's considered, what in a lot of lists, kind of the top. It's in the top 10 usually, which I do kind of get, especially for its time when it came out. I think in the early 2000s, it's pretty monumental stuff in that regard. I think like The Wire and The Sopranos, like those shows kind of coming out mainly on HBO, which is HBO still are absolutely smashing it. Like we have Succession from HBO, like HBO are just goated for sure. But and then obviously House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones. But let's put The Wire. For me personally, I'd probably put it. It's better than Sopranos from memory, I'd say. I think I might prefer Sopranos to The Wire, but again, I need to get there. Let's go. Maybe there. Better than Midnight Mass. Not as good as like People Just Do Nothing and Bates Motel. I think they're just better comfort shows to me. But I think The Wire, in terms of writing, would be way up there. But for me, like I say, season 1 just was not for me. And that is really from season 2 onwards, so season 2, 3, and 4. And again, that could change because I've not watched season 5 yet. So that's only 10 episodes long. I'm watching Top Boy at the moment. I think when that's done, that's only like a few eps. And then I'll finish off The Wire. It's taken me a long time to watch The Wire, though. If you go onto my Tracked, I think I started this back in March, April of this year. And it's now October. Season 1 I was very, very slow with. But The Witcher. So 2 seasons of The Witcher. I think we're probably coming up to fairly close to when season 3 should start getting like a release date and stuff. But yeah, I like The Witcher. I think season 1 I didn't love as much as a lot of people did. I thought the timeline and the way they did the timeline was annoying. I didn't love that. And season 2, I preferred to season 1, but even that I wouldn't say was amazing. I think The Witcher is like a decent, good show. I don't think it's anything amazing. I think visually it's really well done. I think acting very well done, but it's just the story for me. I'm not fully invested in the story yet. We're 2 seasons in, and I still wouldn't say I'm like fully into it as much as I should be. I think the characters are great. The world is wonderful, but I'm not fully with The Witcher yet. I think season 3 really needs to bang. Like, I'd give season 1 and 2 like a base 7 out of 10 each, which is good, but I think I'm waiting for like that first out of the 3 like really, really great season, and I hope season 3 can do that. I'd still put it in really good though. I'd probably maybe towards the bottom end, like I put it to hot stopper. Maybe Mindhunter's better, Housecard is better. Trying to miss a robot. We always kind of get stuck here at Pretty Little Lies. I have more fun with The Witcher's a better show than Pretty Little Lies. I have more fun with Pretty Little Lies. I do prefer The Witcher to the OA though. Yeah, good stuff. All right, This Is Us. This is, out of all the reactions I'm doing, This Is Us is the one that does the weakest in terms of views, and I think if it was a lesser show I probably would have switched off from it, just because it doesn't do the best on YouTube or Patreon, but it is one of the best shows I've ever reacted to, ever watched, full stop. I love this show. I think it's, I hear no one talk about it. I hear people talk about it, of course, but it's more like engaging with replies and comments on the YouTube and Patreon videos. I don't really see like any videos like in, you know, top 25 lists of. I kind of get it. I'm not finished yet. As of today, I just finished season 4. I did the finale to season 4, so I have 2 seasons left. It has finished, I think, 6 seasons. It's perfect. It does not need to be a show that goes on for like 10 seasons, so 6 seasons sounds perfect to me. And there are moments where I'm like, okay, yeah, it's kind of doing that whole, we're going to make you cry and be really upset. And even the finale here in season 4, which was a great finale, but it is kind of doing like, oh, here's more characters and more timelines that you're going to start to learn. And towards the end, it's like, okay, there are definitely moments of that. However, the characters are so good and so well written and so, not all the time, but for the most part, so realistic. It just feels like you're like peeking in on like a real family. Like you're like a fly on a wall to a real family. Of course, there are moments that are over dramatized. I'm not denying that. But yeah, these situations these characters get into feel like situations that could genuinely happen, and they'll definitely have happened to plenty and plenty of people. So I feel like this is one of those shows that there is something in there for everyone, for sure. No matter what it is, there will be a character like you find yourself attached to in some way. And I think the writing is just wonderful. I think the music is great. I think the acting is incredible. I wouldn't put it in goated, for sure. I think season 2 is a 10 out of 10. I think season 1's incredible. I think season 3 or 4 have both been great. I think if This Is Us was like, if they're 18 episodes per season, I'm trying to imagine how I'd feel about it if it was like 12 or 13 episodes a season. Because I think it's a hard one, because I think there are moments where it kind of does focus on a character, but then it's like you build on that character for 40 minutes and it makes you care about them more. It never has an episode where it like focuses on a single character or like a couple of characters for 40 minutes and you care about them less, or you look at the episode and go, that was pointless. So it does make use of its 18 episodes, but I think there are like moments where I think you could probably shave off maybe like a couple of episodes, and not even in like season 2. I'm talking more so about season 3 and 4, I think. But I'm going to put This Is Us very high up in the fantastic. Probably. Oh, I think season 4 of Shameless is better than season 2 of This Is Us. I will say that. So I'm going to put it here. Better than I'm with an E. Not as good as Game of Thrones for me. Again, Game of Thrones just has those amazing seasons. You can't deny that. And again, I have 2 seasons left, so that could change. It could go higher or lower based on how good those 2 seasons are. But yeah, in terms of shows I've reacted to, I mean, other than This Is Us, above that we have Shameless, which I reacted to, Sex Education, Scam, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. So it technically be in my top 10 shows that I've ever reacted to. Also, I counted when the camera ran out for 30 minutes. I just randomly counted how many of these shows on here I've actually reacted to, and guess how many? How many of these shows, number-wise, do you think I've reacted to on the channel? It's higher than you think. It's 70. How mad is that? I was surprised by that. I'm not going to go through them all again, but there are 70 shows. I've at least done... There were some in there that I'd only done like 5 or 6 episodes to. It's not like all the way through. I think all the way through from start to finish, I don't know, I've not counted that, but yeah, at least like a few episodes that I've reacted to. So like The Mandalorian I counted, for example, even though I only did season 1. But yeah, 70, that's mad. Toradora, my favourite anime of all time. I can't put this in 10 out of 10 because I don't think the ending is amazing as much as I want to. I have a tattoo of I mean, it's hard to... How do I can kind of do it upside down, maybe. No, I can't. How do I bend this? There you go. That kind of works. So yeah, Tiger. I've got... Well, I got Guts and Casca yesterday. No, not yesterday. 3 days ago. And then I'm getting a Spirited Away one tomorrow as I'm recording this, so that's fun. That'll be on my leg though. Yeah, I've got a tiger tattoo. That's the character from there. I love Toradora. I've reacted to every single episode. It wasn't like my first time watching or anything. It was my second time watching that show all the way through. So you can, and they're all still up. You can watch all my reactions to Toradora. And then I've rewatched it again since then with my sister, and she really enjoyed it as well. And then I want to watch it a 4th time soon. So I'm going to put it in Fantastic. Probably it's better than The Office for me. It's better than Sex Ed. It's better than Hunter x Hunter. I'm going to put it there. The only reason it's not in the 10 out of 10 for me is because I think the ending could have been way better. And admittedly, there are some moments in the middle that aren't as good as some of the other moments in the show. It is only 25 episodes long, 20 minutes each. Again, Hunter x Hunter is a far better show for sure, anime-wise. But Toradora for me, I just love the story. I think I'm a sucker for good romances. You guys know I am if you've been on the channel for a while. If you have a good romance in a TV show, then you've won over 50% of me being involved in the show. That's fine. Toradora for me perfects the romance in it. It's amazing. I can rewatch it, like I say, 3 times, and I'm still as invested as I was the first time, even knowing like the outcome and stuff. But yeah, very good anime. It's on Netflix, I think, so it's very easy to find. And if not on Netflix, I'm pretty sure it is on Netflix. But if it's not, it should be on Crunchyroll as well. But yeah, I love Toradora, and you can see how much I love it. I've got the reactions on the channel, so go check them out as well if you've seen the show already. Touch. I always forget the show exists. It's Keith Sutherland, obviously Jack Bauer from 24. I don't remember much about the show. I watched it. It's only 2 seasons. It got cancelled very early. I did watch both seasons though. What is it about? It's like, I know it's kind of like they share memories or they have visions of other people's lives. Well, it's not all the characters. It's like one character can do that. Is it like Minority Report or something? Then they stop preventing crime. I can't remember. It wasn't very good. I think it had good moments. They did have good episodes in there, but overall, and especially because it was unfinished with it being cancelled, I'd probably put it low down on the average. As much as I love Kiefer Sutherland, I'd have to put it maybe here. Better than Girls, but not as good as like Sense8 and Scream, and Scream was more fun and stuff, but I seem to remember it being okay. It was like fine. It passed the time. I've only watched it once, and that was like almost 10 years ago now. No, not. I think it came out in 2013. So yeah, almost 10 years. All right, True Blood, the show I can never, ever finish, ever, bro. I think I've rewatched seasons 1 to 3 maybe 4 or 5 times, and then I think I finished season 4 as well. So okay, I've done seasons 1 to 3 about 4 times. I've done season 4 on 2 of those 4 times. So then I've managed to get through season 4 twice, and then I always get to season 5, and I can't do it. And I tried it again 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I tried True Blood again, and I got to season 5 again that was the 4th time. Seasons 1 to 3 are genuinely really, really great. Season 2 has a great villain, wonderful villain. I think Eric is a really good character as well. I think the romance in season 1 for Bill and Suki is actually pretty decent. Cheesy as fuck. It was meme to death about how much sex was in True Blood at the time. Lafayette, I think, is a really great character. I think the actor of Lafayette died not too long ago. I think he passed away, so rest in peace to Lafayette. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he did. Season 3 was really great. It kind of introduced him like werewolves and stuff. It's like Vampire Diaries on crack. But then season 4 hits, and I think season 4 is decent, but it's kind of losing that stride, and then 5 hits, and you're just like, oh, okay, I'm done. So, yeah, I do think it's a really good show, mainly because of seasons 1, 2, and 3. But season 4 and 5, especially 5, are pretty below average. So it's as high as it is because of those first 3 seasons that I do actually stand by all being pretty good, with some weaker bits in the middle. But I think it's only like 10 episodes a season, which I liked about it. It wasn't like some 22 episode show, which it probably could have gone away with doing. HBO as well, so you know you got a good quality with that one. I'll put it better than The Witcher. It's better than Pretty Little Lies. It's better than Mr. Robot, Friday Night, House of Cards. Yeah, we'll go pretty high up. I think maybe there, next to Dexter. I think I prefer Dexter just because, again, season 4 of Dexter absolutely bangs. But I think the worst parts of Dexter are probably worse than the bits of True Blood I got to. And True Blood could get even worse. I didn't finish it, so it could get even worse. But I don't know. True Detective, right. I have not seen seasons 2 and 3 of True Detective, and I don't think I ever will watch them. There have been a few times where I've come very close to watching seasons 2 and 3 of True Detective. However, the reason I haven't is because I'm going to put this in 10 out of 10. I'm going to put it there for now, but I'm going to move it in where it should be in the 10 out of 10 in a minute. I know for a fact if I watch seasons 2 and 3 of True Detective, it's no longer going to be in the 10 out of 10. It just won't. I think season 1 is a masterpiece, absolute masterpiece. I think the writing is some of the best writing ever put to a TV show. HBO again, of course. The acting, some of the best acting I've ever seen. Rust and Marty, they're like bond and chemistry on screen. Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, off the charts. It's only 7 episodes long, so very, very short. And each season's an individual story, so you can watch season 1, get the full story, and you don't have to watch any more, which is what I've done. Again, I've heard season 3 is actually decent, but I've heard season 2 is pretty bad. And I just know if I watch those, I'm going to have to include it in the package of True Detective. And I don't want to do that because I can't comprehend how incredible season 1 of this show actually is. So this is only based on season 1, and I would put it there. Yeah, my top 5 shows of all time with just season 1. I've rewatched. I think I've seen season 1 maybe 4 or 5 times now. Watched it once, then I watched it with my uncle once, then I've watched it with my ex, and then I think I just watched it by myself another time in between that. So yeah, 4 times since it came out, and I love it. If you haven't seen True Detective, watch True Detective. Oh my god, you are missing out. Like, again, I can say stuff like 24 as high as it is and be like, okay, it's not for everyone stuff, but True Detective is just some of the best writing you will ever see. And I think it's like episode 4 or 5 of that show is every episode, but they're like I don't want to spoil it. Just watch it. All right. I can never pronounce the name of this one, but it has As the Moon So Beautiful. But it's like, I can't see the full word. It's like TSUKIGUK IER or something. I don't remember. It's a romance anime. It's only 12 episodes long, very short. But again, kind of like Toradora, the romance is amazing in the show. I think It does take a couple of episodes to really get into, but even then, I think the first 2 episodes are great. I think technically this is probably a better made show than Toradora because it is 12 episodes and it just gets on with it. Toradora is 25 episodes and there's a bit of padding in the middle, like I will admit to. I prefer Toradora because I just prefer the romance in that show. However, this is very close. Very close. This would be in my top 5 anime for sure. Maybe let's have a look. Where would I put you? I put it pretty high up. Maybe all up for no, I don't throw it to Clanad, so maybe there. I throw it to Full Metal Alchemist, but I think Clanad's better. Yeah, pretty high up. It's literally just a romance anime. There's nothing deeper really on going on in that show, but it pays off. It has a great ending, and you can get through that show in probably about a day. I'm pretty sure we did it in probably a day or two. So I need to rewatch that one as well. Actually, I really enjoyed that show. So definitely check that out. I'm going to leave Vikings Valhalla. I put this on because when I started the track tier list, I thought I was going to finish Vikings Valhalla, and I didn't. I got to episode 5. So I never finished Vikings Valhalla. So I'm not going to... I didn't finish season 1, so I can't base... I mean, I could base it on the 4 eps, but I think that'd be a bit unfair, seeing as that's kind of the rule that we've not had for everything else. But so we'll leave that there. Maybe when we come back to this next year, I'd have finished it. Probably not, admittedly, but... We'll talk about the better one, which was Vikings. I got season 4 of this show. Is whenever they got to like Paris. Is around when I started. But I was watching it live, so it was around. I had to stop and wait, and then I just never actually caught up because I was like, okay, I'll wait till the whole show finishes, and then it's like season 6 or 7 it ends on, and I just never got around to it. Great show, great characters. I think the music was amazing. The cinematography I remember really standing out about Vikings as well. Like it felt like the people who were involved in making Vikings really cared about it. I remember it was airing around the same time as when Game of Thrones was popping off, and it would always be compared to Game of Thrones as being like, okay, if you like Game of Thrones, give Vikings a chance, and it kind of pads the time during while you're waiting for Game of Thrones. It never got to the levels of when Game of Thrones was peak, but it was a pretty good medieval rival, I'd say. Worthy of being number 2, I'd say, when it was airing. So I'd put it in, based on what I've seen, probably fantastic, but probably towards the bottom, like maybe here. Better than How to Get Away with Murder, but not as good as like Naruto and Dark for me. I think I stopped just before it started to fall off a little bit, because from what I remember hearing is like season 5 is where Vikings starts to falter a little bit. I will say about Vikings though, I think it's, let me check, I'm pretty sure it's only Vikings, it's only like 6 or 7 seasons long, so it didn't drag out too long, which I like it, because it felt like a show that probably 6 seasons. Granted, 3 of those seasons are 20 eps each. They started with 10. But yeah, season 2 was a banger. Season 1 and 3 were pretty good, so yeah, I stopped. I think also I finished all of season 3, and I think maybe I did half of 4. I'm not. No, I didn't do any of those episodes. I don't think. All right, cool. Yeah, I like Vikings. Good stuff. Not doing Max Valhalla. Westworld. Oh god. Season 1, 9 out of 10. Seasons 2 and 3 are fine. I don't think they're great. And then season 4 was actually alright, to be fair. I think season 4 was way better than season 3. But Westworld peaked in season 1, and they will never get that high again. It's not. I don't think it's even been renewed for season 5 as of recording this yet. It hasn't been cancelled, but it hasn't been renewed. I think they need a 5th season to wrap everything up. But yeah, this was a show that was up here during season 1, and it is tumbled all the way down to, I'd say, middle of here. Maybe it's better than Witcher, again, because of season 1. Season 1's really holding it up. Maybe there. Yeah. This should have been a show that was a limited series. I think Westworld should have been a limited series and just had 1 season, and I think reworked some things in season 1 But imagine if it was like, or maybe like a limited series that was quite long. So one season, but that season is 15, 16 episodes long, so quite lengthy and meaty. Instead of it being this multiple season thing, and just like reworked some things in season one, and it could have gone down as one of the best shows. But it just won't be. It's kind of just silly now. The storylines are silly. I'm still invested. I still think it is good. I know a lot of people think it's like gone utterly to the dogs and it's unwatchable garbage now, which I kind of get, sure. But I think season 4 redeemed it a little bit, but not even close to being what season 1 was. All right, 3 more. You. We have season 4 of you coming out in a few months, actually. Well, I'll say a few, it's still like 4 months away, but they're splitting it into 2 parts like they did with Stranger Things, which is interesting. I'm curious if Netflix is going to start doing that more. I like you. I think I'm a bit worried about season 4 because, again, I don't want to spoil anything, but I don't want it to just be a repeat. Again, I get it's kind of meta and it is self-aware about that stuff when it is repeating itself, which kind of lets it off the hook a little bit. But I think they really have to mix season 4 up a bit. And I think each season has been different enough from the other seasons where it doesn't feel too repetitive. But there definitely are moments where you're like, okay, we get it. I think what really holds this up is Penn. The actor who plays Joe is actually really great. I remember I was there for day one of you when it was on that shitty network before it went to Netflix, and I was saying Penn is sick. He's so into the role, and he fully gets it. And to think he was from Gossip Girl, and he's one of the weaker characters in Gossip Girl, and he goes on to give us one of the better performances in a Netflix show. Not. I don't think he's like Emmy worthy. I wouldn't go that far with his performance, but in terms of Netflix shows, I think he's one of the better actors for his role for sure. I'd probably put you maybe towards it's either the top of really good or bottom of fantastic. I'll put it, I think, like here. I'm going to have to rework some of these. I think we've got too many in the 8s and 9s. There's a lot of shows I will give an 8 to, though. I think You is one of those. I'd give it an 8 for now. Despite there being some moments in there. Maybe we should, like, slice this in half and have, like, the 9 out of 10s and then the 8 out of 10s. Let me know what you think, and then maybe I'll sort that in the next part. But, yeah, I'd probably put it maybe above Vampire Diaries, so like there or something. Very good show. I'm curious what they're going to do with season 4. I hope it feels different enough. Or it feels like they're not just starting to drag it out. I will say, I don't think You needs to be like 6, 7 seasons. I think do season 4 and then maybe announce that season 5 is going to be like the final season. Don't do what Dexter did and have 8 seasons. That'd be ridiculous. Alright, we'll end with Young Royals because I think more people are probably interested in that one. But Your Lie in April, another great anime. I've only watched it once. Very musical heavy, very depressing. I've been told that the person I watched it with originally, he kind of said that on rewatch it's not as great. So I do need to check it out again and see if it's just kind of in my memory of being really wonderful. But based on what I remember about the show, I remember the music being really great. I remember the ending having a really great payoff. I remember really liking the characters. So there wasn't much that I look back on with kind of negative feelings, but I understand I did watch it in 2016, so 4, 5, 6, almost 7 years ago now. So from what I remember about it, it's probably maybe here. Yeah, it's like a base 8 out of 10, I think. So I think I don't know if I will rewatch it. I think it's quite lengthy, 25 episodes. Takes a bit of time to get through, but I remember having fond memories of that show. So, all right, Young Royals. We have season 2 of this coming out. By the time this goes up on YouTube, I think season 2 airs in like 2 days. So we'll be doing reactions to season 2 for sure. Very good show. Good romance. I really like the chemistry between the 2 main characters. Quite quick. I think I got through season 1 within like a couple of days, so it didn't leave too much of a lasting impression. But yeah, I remember, I think because it's a romance, I was about to say romance anime then, because we just spoke about so many romance animes. Because of romance, obviously it all depends on how good is the chemistry between whoever the romance is about, and are you invested in it? And I think it took a couple of episodes for me to be fully invested in the romance, but I got there for sure. And another one with a great ending. And I remember finishing season 1 being fully invested in the show, and I'm curious what they're going to do with season 2 for sure. So I'd probably put Young Royals. I wouldn't go as high as Fantastic, but I'd go high in really good. I know this gets compared to Heartstopper a lot. I don't think it's really like... I don't know. I think this is better than Heartstopper personally. I can see why people prefer Heartstopper, but I don't really see many similarities apart from them obviously being about two gay couples. But correct me if I'm wrong, the main character in this never said he was gay. Could be wrong on that one. Where do I put you? I think maybe I prefer Death Note. I do prefer Prison Break, but maybe better than Kids on Slate. Maybe they're high, really good. Yeah, definitely prefer it to Heartstopper, and I don't really see the comparison, honestly. That was like the load of comments I got. I think when I did Heartstopper, it was like, I prefer this so much more to Young Royals. Which one do you prefer and stuff? So there you go. There's my answer. I prefer Young Royals to Heartstopper if anyone cared. But I think the two. That's the thing with Heartstopper. I know we said this when we rated this, but the thing I liked about Heartstopper is it kind of avoided having too much drama in its story. Young Royals has a lot more drama in it than Heartstopper kind of does. I just think for me, I think these two had better chemistry, and because it is about the romance, don't get me wrong, these two have great chemistry, but I think for me, I just felt like these two had better chemistry, so that's why it's got the one up on Heartstopper. Yeah, so, and again, I'm not going to rate Vikings Valhalla because never finished season 1, but that is, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in Goated. I'm a bit unsure about the in-betweeners. I'm going to let that settle when it might be on like the very top of Fantastic, if not on Goated. But I'm pretty happy. I know Succession hasn't finished, but I just love that show. I don't have a reason not to put it in 10 out of 10 for now. Then we've got Avatar: The Last Airbender, Better Call Saul, True Detective season 1, because I've only seen season 1, 24, Breaking Bad, and then my number 1 show of all time is, of course, Lost. But honestly, Lost sometimes switches with 24 and Breaking Bad, depending on what I'm watching at the time. At the moment, it's Lost, but it can be either of those 3 shows. Even though I understand, again, I look at that and I think the only 2 shows that I would understand people not putting in their top is Lost and 24, my number 1 and number 3. A lot of it is nostalgia based, and it's just how much fun I have with those 2 shows. So I do get that, but again, my list is just why they're at 1 and 3. I think most people are going to have Breaking Bad in their 10 out of 10s. I think anyone who's seen season 1 of True Detective, definitely probably in their 10 out of 10s. Avatar: The Last Airbender, definitely. Succession, maybe, but probably more so in the Fantastic, I think, for most people. The In-Betweeners, probably more in Fantastic. Better Call Saul. I could see most people putting it in probably Fantastic, but I think most people are in agreement it's the best spin-off ever made to one of the, if not the best show ever made, which is impressive. That's impressive. How many of these are HBO? That's HBO. That's HBO. So we only got 2 HBO shows on there. That's cool. And that's ABC, I think Lost was. Breaking Bad was AMC, as was Better Call Saul, but kind of Netflix as well. 24 was Fox, and Avatar was Nickelodeon. The In-Betweeners was In-Betweeners Channel 4? Something like that, I can't remember. Yeah, there we go. That was a hefty few videos, 6 parts. I thought we'd get it done in 4 parts, but 6 parts, that's fine. There's a lot of shows to get through. I will rework some of these very quickly. So One Tree Hill, I've watched a bit more, obviously, since we rated that one. I'm happy with keeping that there for now. Season 6 wasn't wonderful, honestly, but I wouldn't bring it down too far. Not enough to make a difference right now. So Gilmore Girls, I've watched a bit more, way more actually, since then. So we're going to bring Gilmore Girls up. I'm still going to keep it in 7. but maybe put it there. So we'll put it up a row. New Girl I watched a bit more of. It's gotten way better since I watched it here as well. Not too much better, but enough to probably put it maybe there, upper row as well. And I'm going to bring Money Heist down to there. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And then there was another show. Oh yeah, so I've watched more of, what else we got here? Jujutsu Kaisen. I'd probably still put this in the same. I still got a few more eps to do. I've not finished season 1 yet. I think I've got 3 eps left, but I'd probably bring it up to there. No, better than Alice in Borderland. So probably there. And then Fruits Baskets, where are you? Here. I've watched way more of that since, and it's gone really good where I'm at. So I think I'm just about to finish season 2 where I'm at. So I know season 3 is meant to be like the best season, the final season. Maybe there. And I'd probably put New Girl above Legend of Korra, actually. Yeah. What else we got? I think so yeah, like House of the Dragon stuff I haven't watched more of yet. And I haven't added yet, and there's about 4 other shows I haven't added, but we'll save that for the next one. I don't think there's anything else that needs moving. I'm pretty happy with that for now. Like I say, there probably could be somewhat like Punisher and Sopranos. I'm sure you could probably swap around sometimes, and there'd be some little ones you could, if I wanted to perfect it. I do want to kind of perfect it, but I also don't want to be sat here for an hour. Maybe I'll do that off camera, and then we'll have a look. But maybe I'll get more into that. Okay, you know what? I'm going to leave it as it is, and then when we do this again next year, I'll look more deeply into the ins and outs of it. Then, because then we won't have to just add everything, every single show now. It'll just be kind of there, and we'll see how I feel about it in the moment then. But I am happy with that list. I need to rate Vikings Valhalla because it looks ugly down there at the bottom. Let's put it based on what I did see, which is 4 episodes. Probably there. Oh, there. Yeah, it was fine. It was borderline fine. Hence why I didn't really continue it. I mean, it didn't do great anyway. But I think I've seen more Cuphead since. No, I haven't. That was season 2. All right, I need to stop in case I'll be looking at this all night. Thank you so much for watching these. This has been a lot of fun to do. We're doing a season tier list alongside every platinum trophy that I earned on PlayStation, alongside every film that I watched. We'll do those at the end of the year, and then June, July 2023, we'll go through this again, and I'll just probably keep it as like one big part instead of 6 parts, because this was like the big one. I want to do a really big one again, but do it more so. I was thinking in my head, like starting from 1995, my birth year, and doing all the like top, like the 50 biggest films that came out each year, or like 20 biggest films that came out that year, and kind of rate those. I kind of want to do a list of like IMDb's top 100 as well, and kind of rate all those. So there are like some big, and we only touched on like games, plenty of other tier lists that we can delve into, but this was the one that I wanted to do for a while. I know I did a tier list like this about 3 years ago, but I felt like that was kind of inaccurate, especially with how I feel now. And I've watched way more shows obviously since then, since 3 years ago. So yeah, 70 of these shows I've reacted to. That's the big one. Right, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you when I see you. Let me know what you'd have on your top row, what you'd have on your bottom row, and I'll see you next year when we do this again, which will be fun to do. So until then, take care. Peace.